Welcome to 2023's Blue Sky After Dark with JT. That's me, Jason Thompson, tickermonkey.com. We're going to do things a little different this year. Instead of me just rambling on and taking questions right out of the gate, which I think that was always a good thing, but I think it wasn't efficient use of time. A lot of the questions are pretty, sometimes, not the best. Anyway, we're going to do a little different format. My friend Brandon here, he's a fellow
How's it
ticker
going?
monkey. Brandon is, you can show all your credentials later, I guess. But, Brandon, how long have you been with me at Ticker Monkey? 2 years? Three? Is it two?
Let's see. I think I joined in 21. So yeah, coming about 2 full years, and then
What brought you over? Was it Ollie's success in the championship? Is that what got you over?
that's what put it on my radar. And then just, it's always trading's a lonely game if you don't have a community with people that are actually like-minded, rather than everybody trying to sell you on the latest get rich quick schemes. So
Yeah. Yeah. The mastermind group, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So once I saw the Ticker Monkey group wasn't like that, I was sold.
And would you say that Ticker Monkey 2023 is better than Ticker Monkey 2021?
Oh yeah, I feel like it's evolving all the time. It just gets
Yeah.
better.
I feel like I'm biased, but I feel that too. So what I thought we'd do this year is bring Brandon on. Now, Brandon has been writing, it's Pine Script, right? Pine Script is
Yeah,
the
Pine Script.
the code that is native to TradingView only, right?
Yeah, so it's native to TradingView. It's pretty similar to some other coding languages like Python or Java, but it's kind of tailored towards technical analysis. Like they
Is
have a
it
lot of
is it more
inbuilt stuff already.
okay? Yeah, because it's basically a template and it's starting like from the jumping point. It's all technical stuff. Is it a more
Yeah.
simpler coding than Python? Is it easy?
Uh it's pretty easy. I
There
mean,
we go.
for example, like the editor is just built right into TradingView already, so you don't even need to download software or anything like that. And then, like I was saying, it's all geared towards kind of trading already. So if
Mhm.
for instance, if I wanted to get, um, say a 8 EMA on here, I can just put in this TA, which it's one of their libraries, stands for technical analysis. You can
Mhm.
type in EMA. I'm going to use a close and then my length that I want. So right there, that's on automatically formulate a EMA for me without having to actually go through and
And
know the
type it all
formula.
out. So they've actually got this library that generates while you're typing. So if it's already there, you can just
Yeah, so if it's
fill
something
it in.
highlighted in blue, it's something they've already done
Okay.
the work for. It's built in. So I mean, as simple as that. I mean, 2 lines of code, and if I add this to my chart, that blue line now, I got an EMA there.
Okay. Yeah, I was noticing Andrew Rocco at the end of, well, towards the end of his, he was mentioning how Chat GPT has actually opened up making coding easier for folks like him that would go and type a strategy or something in it, like, hey, give me code for this and think or swim, and it's actually populating code. So there's people doing that now.
Yeah, so that definitely is an option. However, because PineScript it's not a Python or Java. Most of the time, if you ask ChatGPT to do it, it's going to give you something that won't work.
Right, because this is its own
It
specific thing. I'm surprised that Chat GPT can kick out, because isn't Thinkorswim ThinkScript? That's
Yeah,
its own
ThinkScript.
thing.
I think it's just that's been around longer,
Yeah.
maybe, but yeah, it can get you pretty close, and you can use it to maybe catch an error in your code.
Mm.
But as far as creating something, it normally kind of mixes different coding languages, saying it's PineScript, or it'll change the version. So up here, we're on version 5 of PineScript.
Mm.
So a lot of times it'll pump something out in version 4, kind of mixed with version 5, and you're gonna have to go through and fix it.
Now, were you coding before this, or did you get interested in the coding based off trading? Like, what brought you to
So
doing
I do not have a coding background actually. I decided to learn how to trade PineScript because, well, code Pine script. I'm a full-time trader, and obviously 2022 we had that bear market, and like all traders, well, not all traders, but most of us, we tend to overtrade. So to keep myself from overtrading during 2022, I decided to learn how to write code for indicators and stuff like that.
Yes, and that was like towards the
Probably
was that towards
third quarter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because shortly after that, because I think what you did was you took my Fibonacci work around gaps,
Yep.
and you had bought John's 55 greatest winners study. Is this correct?
Yeah.
And then you applied my fib stuff to that, and
Yep.
then you hit me up one day and you said, "Hey,
Yeah. What?
this is what I've done."
Yeah. Let the coded it in there and let the script do it for me.
Yeah, and so you were able to go and test all that, and you actually, I think you did that for us initially too, for the gap study names.
Yeah. We did
And
that on the study.
but you did like you did a little study on it and came back to me, and you were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what I find great about you and Max, and there's been other people that have done this too, but all this stuff that I just do, um, you guys have come to me and you're like, there is actual statistical edge to
Yeah.
what
Right. He's not
your
just a crazy
madness."
man
Right.
spewing stuff out.
Well, I mean, I look at my P&L. If I wasn't making money with this stuff, I wouldn't do it. So it was very nice to see you guys do that and come up with an edge. But let's jump into what you're doing now. So what you're doing now is you do have a business now
I,
that
I
people can get in touch with you and have custom scripts written for them, tailored to what they're looking for, their edge. They can lay it out to you and you can put it all together for them. We'll put your stuff up for that at the end. But
Yep.
then also what you're doing is you know, you're actually putting out a lot of free scripts to serve the many for free. And basically you've done a lot of stuff that's especially a lot of Mike Webster stuff and a bunch of other stuff. I can't even keep up with all the stuff that you're putting out.
Yeah. I like paying attention to stuff that Webby puts out there. I mean, with his background, anytime he talks or shares something like that I can put into a code, it's normally some good reason behind it. And I want to test it personally, so I end up making it, and
Yeah.
we go from there. And
And
that's
go ahead.
I was gonna say that. I mean, that's selfishly, partially why I code. Selfishly, I want all these for myself. They're gonna help me, but I might as well let other people benefit from it as well.
Yeah, and that's something that this really, I never used scripts and stuff. Now I had the relative strength with the moving averages and the crossovers and all of that, but I guess it was
Was it? Yeah, Webby just shared one of those. I just
oh, did
with all
he?
his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we just made that, and I think he called it a quick break, a quick sand, and the Grateful Dead are all these different dots. They're mean different things. I haven't fully studied it yet, but I coded it already.
Right. Well, that's what I found funny the other day. It's like I saw that tweet. I think that tweet was about 5 hours old or something like that.
Yeah,
And then I hit you up and I'm like, have you done this? And you're like, yeah, I've already done I've already
yep,
created it. So yeah, that's great. And that's free. That's
yep.
what
That one's free out
he
there.
put out. And I think all the ones that are Webby related, you have, in the spirit of Webby, made them all free.
Yeah, all the Webby ones are free. Actually, I mean, there's only two scripts that I charge for, which is the Market Navigator, which is pretty much the market school rules
Mhm.
put into a code, which we can go over in a little bit,
Yep.
and then the Gap Fibonacci that was for the Gap workshop.
Yeah,
Everything else
yeah.
is free.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you have to actually take, and you actually have to take our Gap workshop to actually be
Yeah,
qualified to even buy that thing.
yeah. And I mean, even if you didn't take the Gap workshop, you probably wouldn't know what any of those things mean. So it
Right,
would be
right.
pointless anyways for you.
Yeah, it's true. Well, let's get into it and let's So we know now how you got interested in this. A bear market is a great time for people to dive into things, learn studies, all that. As a side,
Exactly.
John Pocorobo, he didn't know anything really about candlesticks and all that, and he used the bear market to really get into that. And that's where I got brought on last year for Blue Sky to give that presentation that honestly, I think it really resonated and helped a lot of people. And
Oh
so,
yeah, no, it's a good one.
and then the other thing about the scripts, where I was about to say a second ago, I had somebody code my OELs for me, my wick setups and all that, and it really helps to have it on the screen, because I was doing all of this stuff for a long time with just the naked eye.
Yep.
And the naked eye, it's great, but what's even greater is the efficiency. When you have these scripts up on the screen, you can go back and really study things and you don't miss anything. The oops reversals flag, the 3-bar breaks flag, the wick setups flagged, the open equals high is flagged. It's all there.
Yeah, that, and I think the scripts too, kind of how quickly you can see them. I mean, if you're somebody who has either like a full-time job or kids or something, and after market you want to cut down your routine time, if you have these indicators, for instance, like my base finder here, if I see these green lines, I know there's a consolidation that's at least 6 weeks long, and the depth's going to be less than, whatever I put in the setting here, which I think I have it at 35%, and it's got that prior uptrend, so you're not having to sit here and measure everything. You're just flipping through the charts, and you can flag something that's going to meet your requirements that you can go back later and look at.
yes. Well, all right. Well, let's jump into it. You want to start with your best free ones or your best paid ones?
Yeah, we can start with some free ones. So I mean, we can go base finder since it's up here. So this one, I was always a long time Marketsmith subscriber. I think it's a great product. Uh, I decided to see if I could, test myself and bring kind of their pattern recognition to TradingView. It's not perfect. It matches up pretty close. We got cups, and the consolidations. For this one, I think obviously this looks like a double bottom here now.
Mm-hmm.
Going
Do you have it to where
there.
to flag a double bottom, or you?
I have a beta version of the double bottom. Not quite satisfied with it yet.
Okay.
So it's definitely I'm always trying to upgrade the codes if I can. So that's going to be getting worked on here. But this one I like, kind of like I was saying it. If I see these green lines, I know that there's some sort of consolidation that's going to meet my length and depth requirements with a prior uptrend.
Okay,
So I
so
can
you
just
do have the depth and the length of each one of those things. So when you mouse over it, it shows you.
yeah. So if you hover over the first bar of the base, it'll tell you what it is. That one, there's a cup, your pivot,
Okay.
your depth, your length. And then one thing I did, which I thought was kind of cool in the spirit, William O'Neill always like to go week by week. I have this setting in here to show accumulation and distributions of the bases.
Oh,
So if you hover over, let's see if this one.
do you
So
have it?
you see that one at the
Yeah.
bottom now under length. So saying you had one accumulation week during that base, one distribution, and then 4 neutrals.
And now, are you doing that based on what we've all
So it's going to be based on the volume and the closing range.
the range close? Are you doing it by the average? Is it above or below the average volume? Or are you going bar
Yep.
by bar?
Yeah. So it's above or below average volume, and then the closing range is how I'm calculating those.
And I'm
But
assuming your average volume is a 10-week average volume.
yeah, 10-week, which is actually something down here. So on this, this is a custom volume indicator I made. And so I have the moving average line here, but something I did, which will be, I guess, more prominent on a daily chart, is this moving average color line changes based on the up down volume ratio.
Okay.
So if it's orange, you're below 1. If it's blue, you're above 1 on that up down volume.
Okay.
Which I kind of cool. Makes it, quick, easy way to judge that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I'd make these selfishly for myself, to help, speed up my process. I don't want to have to necessarily go week by week, in a base.
Count
If
them
I could,
out. You don't want to waste all that time like I do, huh?
yeah, I can just hover over. I can see like this new one on Nvidia here. So we're 22% deep, 10 weeks in. Got 8 neutral weeks, 1 accumulation, and 1 distribution week in it.
Well, okay. So that's a
I mean, just again, that's off the average volume and
yeah. I mean, a zero is
closing
better
range.
than a negative. So
Yeah. So here, I mean, the second week of the base is going to be your accumulation week. You're above average, and then here we have that distribution week.
pull up the cues real quick. What is it showing for the 3 waves down as
So
far
this is,
it doesn't
uh,
have anything
yeah.
flagged.
So it's probably, let's see, turn this little magnet on. So 11%, 14 bars. This one, let me check if it picks this up if I change. There we go. So you can change the maximum length of the bases too. I kind of have it default set at 15, so a little over a quarter. But yeah, so there you go. 16 weeks, 3 accumulation weeks, 6 distribution, 7 neutral.
Neutral. Okay.
Yeah.
Open up that panel again. So what all can you do with it? So you
So you can change the color of the lines, the width of them, and then let me go back to or I guess this little triangle here. If you want to see a breakout, you can, hide or show that. If you want to see bases that failed, you can turn those on. I don't know if there's going to be any on the cues here, but it'll, say this was a base and it went down. You see those lines again. The accumulation distribution, the cups, they're the newest addition to here. So like on Nvidia, we have this cup here. If I turn this off, it's just going to show it as just a consolidation rather than a cup.
I got you.
So I like to leave that on because I think it's pretty accurate for the most part.
Mhm.
You can change your prior uptrend amount. I know, and how to make money in stocks. You're looking for, I think they said 20 to 30% prior uptrend. You can change the depth of your basis. So say you only wanted, bases that were less than 30% deep, you switch that to 30. And then anything over 30% is not going to get flagged.
Okay.
You can change the minimum or maximum length requirements. And then same thing on a high type flag. So if we went to something like, let's say Palantir, this one flagged it here with a 90% run up in the poll. I have it. So if you wanted, only 100%, you could change that. And now
And is it going
it
to show up?
should, let's see. It should, it moved it down another week because it's still less than 8 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, 126 from that. And you're 4 weeks there. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so they're all customizable. And then similar to Marketsmith, I added these target zones. But I made them so you can customize them. So if you only wanted to buy, up to 2% past the pivot, you can change it there. Same with your stop loss, you can change it, or your profit targets. So if let's see when this one breaks out. So it plots these boxes as they break out.
Yeah, I see. What's the name of the study in TradingView is the question. It's Base Finder, right?
Yeah, base finder.
And there's not another one. It's just you. What is your handle when people look up studies in
Amphibian trading.
Okay, amphibian trading.
Yeah, which is a name I niched from the MIT blackjack team. They were the amphibian team.
Oh, is that what that's about?
That's where it's from. Fun fact.
Okay. I remember asking you about that. I'm like, you're a monkey. You're not an amphibian.
Yeah,
You're
no.
not a lizard.
The MIT blackjack team.
Okay. Okay. So amphibian trading. Let me spell
I can
that
see.
out.
I can. If anybody wants to see that, I kind of. We're on that.
And we'll put Brandon's. Brandon's actually got a little landing page site and stuff like that. There's his Twitter handle up on the screen.
Oh yeah, I just pulled down. But yeah, I have
We'll put it all in the chat here in a little bit.
Yeah, there's a form you can fill out. I have if you want custom indicators or anything. For instance, I have all these different tabs open, and they're all just working on different indicators for people.
I see somebody ask, what are the yellow diamonds in the volume bar?
So these are pocket pivots. So Pocket pivot, right, is higher volume than any of the previous 10 down days.
Mm-hmm.
So I have those flagged in this volume indicator. So volume with color is what that's called. It's on my page. It's free. So here I'll go into this one. The moving average, you can choose the length, the color. You can choose to color it based on the up down volume ratio, how I was kind of saying earlier. And then here you can change all the different colors. If you wanted just a normal down day color to, be yellow compared to a distribution day, you want it to be bright red so they stand out more. You can go through and change all that. Same thing with accumulation days. If you want, a lime green accumulation day, so it's above average volume. We got volume dry ups, so it's pretty customizable. But this is the pocket pivots here, so you can hide them or show them. 10 days, you can turn on 5-day pocket pivots. So that blue diamond there was a 5-day pocket pivot. So if I uncheck it, that one's going to disappear right there.
Yeah, I like the optionality of being able to go in here and turn these things on and off and hide things.
Yeah,
Nice feature.
black.
Let's see. Somebody said they applied base finder on TradingView, but it's not showing up. I don't.
It's got to be on a weekly chart.
Weekly chart.
So for instance, I'm on a daily chart right now, and I get this error up here. So it just says switch to a weekly time frame, and
so
if you go back, it should.
I got you. You ever thought about?
So I do have a daily version. It's just called Base Finder Daily. It's on my page as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I working on combining them, but there's a couple things that it gets iffy having some variables that are the same. So
yeah, and then Mike has talked about before how Bill would like to know what the counts were, on the weekly and also on the daily. They would take a look too. And hell, I think they probably looked at the monthly too. But okay.
yeah, yeah. So like I said, I try and pretty much anything in William O'Neill's book or that Webby shares, I try and put out there for free. Like this one, Quant Weeklies is a simple one, 3 weeks tight, flags those, and anytime a stock is up 5 weeks or more in a row. I know O'Neill was big on that. He said that's abnormal, so I figure why not flag those.
What does it do? It puts a little box around them.
Yeah, so we got this little box, and then these little.
You got your boxes kind of.
Yeah, I kind of keep them.
Paint gray. Okay, I see.
Yeah, but again, we can turn them on, off. I try to make everything customizable. You can change the colors if you wanted.
Yeah, okay, so that shows up a little bit better. There you go.
Yeah, you can. And then same thing, either these circles or the option if you wanted to color the whole background again and change colors, change the tightness required for 3 weeks tight.
Yeah, because that's something that changed. That used to only be 1%, and then then it changed to 1.5%.
Yeah, so that's it's customizable. I try to make things flexible as well because I know that things change since obviously that book was written and new information comes out. For instance, like the follow through days. So in my Market Navigator, sorry, I switched to a dark background now. I don't know if you guys like the light or dark better, but so.
Well, that's an option too, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, that's all an option.
Yeah.
But so follow through days, I mean, typically you hear everybody saying, it has to be either 1.25% or 1.7% or something like that. But actually, if you go into the market school rules, what they did because they said Bill and he was always changing them. He would call Webby up and be like, I think we need this percent today.
Yeah, so, the volatility adjustment. And basically what I think I read at the bottom of his thing, the volatility, and this is in market school too, you're going back 200 days, right?
Yeah, so we're looking over, so we're taking the last 200 days and then all of the up days. Yeah, we're taking the average gain of those days to come up with what is needed for a follow through day. So for instance, in my market school one, which is called Market Navigator, that's one of the options. So on this table here, our current volatility is 1.01%. So for a follow through day, it needs to be 1.25 right now.
Yeah, and we got that. What was our? It was.
Well, I think actually, I want to say as of just a few days ago, it was only 1%. Yeah. So the day before the follow through day, we were actually at 0.99, meaning we only needed 1% for the follow through day.
Okay.
So you can see it changed. Actually, it changed on the follow through day. So it jumped up that extra 0.1.
And so this is great because this isn't just for the indexes and stuff. You can apply this Market Navigator to individual stocks. So if
Yep.
you're a concentrated trader, like a Sean Ryan earlier today, that's only trading, 2, 3 names, you can use this and apply it to whatever stock.
Yeah. Let's see.
It doesn't automatically pick. You have to pick your anchor day, correct?
Yeah. So,
So normally if we're looking for like the follow through day and stuff,
so
you're
here it is. I have this
constantly.
on NVIDIA. It's something I've been playing with on individual stocks. But yeah, so same kind of thing. I picked this as my day one, obviously, because it's the low.
Okay.
I mean, in real time.
Oh, did you not change it for the new base?
So that's
Still
you actually
going from
don't
over
you
there, huh?
don't yeah you don't need to if you want to just follow it strict. I mean, it'll every little. Let's see, hang on, that'll be hard to see if I change these background colors a little brighter. Every time this blue is a new day one that the indicator picks up.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you can see how it goes through. So here in this chop phase, I mean, there's a bunch of different things. And on an individual stock, the circuit breaker is only 10% from the high, which on an index is, fairly significant. But some of these moves in the stock, that happens pretty quickly.
Yeah, and this thing was having circuit breakers again as of even just recently, a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah. So let's see. NVIDIA had you bring an exposure back on as of Friday. But yeah, it's definitely something you can do. And I know one of the questions people always get is, how do you manage a position using this? So one thing I do is say you're a full position for you is 10%. Uh, when your exposure level is at 55, you could have 55% of that 10%
10%.
position.
Right. So
Yeah.
you get, 5.5% position on.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, like me personally, in my IRA, I do 100% of the account just in the Qs with it. So like I have a 75% position in the QQQ right now in my IRA account.
And you just started putting that back. Did you cheat and go for the inside day on day one?
I did not.
You
I
did not.
tend to I'll buy, so like on the follow through day, I'll buy in the last half hour.
Uh-huh.
But now this next day, because I knew the signal's a low above the 21 EMA, I'll go ahead and I'll buy that in the morning, and then kind of if it closes below it,
Heal
I'll end
that
up selling
file.
that. Yeah, so I end up cheating a little bit there, but
You're not trying if you're not cheating.
yeah, right.
And trading, don't cheat on anything else.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so this was another one I selfishly made for myself because you buy the market school system, it's $1,500. It's pretty pricey, but there's I think 24 different rules plus all these little intricacies about it. And if you're trying to follow that every day, you're spending a good amount of time making sure. So
Oh yeah, like before you came up with this to really track it, I was always constantly asking Duckman or Ehrman,
yeah, exactly.
and
So
other people that were like super students of it.
yeah,
Uh,
so now this makes it, I mean, for me, it's super easy. I can see, what the signals are. And again, I mean, like I do with everything, it's all customizable. You can show or hide moving averages that it uses. I can turn these labels off if I don't want to see them. I can, same thing, this table, I can get rid of it. I can change the colors of everything.
yeah, you can change where the location of the table's at
Yeah,
and all
exactly. So
that,
it's
right?
all customizable. And say you didn't want any of this on your chart, I actually made a second version of it down here, which is just kind of an oscillator, and it just follows what the exposure count is. So it's all the
So
same signals.
do you mouse over it for it to give you the number or
So
oh
if you want to,
it's on the graph on the right.
yep,
Okay.
yeah, and
So the
that text is black right now. I just switched over to using a darker background, but it'll tell you some of the stuff here too.
okay.
Uh, and then also in the So TradingView has a data window, which is this little third block down. So if
Okay.
you go, it'll show you all your indicators on here.
Oh, it's got all the rules and stuff in it.
Yeah. So for instance, if you hover over something like this 3, if you look kind of, it'll go away when I move my mouse probably. I'd say, but this like low over the 50. So
Right.
and there's a 1 next to it instead of a 0. So that signal happened on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, the rally length. So we're 6 days into it. Our buy switch is on.
That's what, let's see. The power trend, the 21 has to be over the 50-day for how many days?
Let's see what it,
I forget
I
what it is,
don't
but
remember it
anyway,
off the top of my head. I think it's 10 days.
yeah, it's something like that. But
10
that
days
it's
over the 50, 21, 50 has to be in an uptrend for 1 day. I think the low has to be above the 21 for
yeah,
10
but
days.
it's tracking all of that.
Yeah, so this green background is the power trend here.
That's right.
Yeah, so there is your power trend when it's green. Same thing on the bottom. So it's keeping track of all that as well.
And so
Yeah, this
this
one
is
took
really great because it forces people to, if you're getting stuck in your feelings because you don't like what's happening in the market, but the market starts to shift, this forces you to pay attention.
yeah, exactly. And I
To
mean, I
get
think
your focus back.
that's one of the main things. Even with just a follow through day, I know the rules, you got to buy something, but I think the biggest thing with that is just gonna be that mindset change. Like, hey, I need to be open to higher prices, you know. So that's
Yeah,
why for
yeah, that whole thing about, well, they fail and all this kind of stuff. That's trading.
yeah,
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 that's why we have
exactly.
stops. So,
Yeah.
especially with something like the Qs, it's not like you're going to get handed a stop in the same magnitude uh,
No, and
of
that's
some.
why I'll trade my full account on
Yeah,
this.
you can really size this up.
Yeah, and I mean, for instance, at the beginning of the year, I was fully invested from, I'm in this range, probably was an average price around, 308, 309, and I think was it I got out here at 370 ish. I mean, you can catch some good moves.
I feel like I don't have a proper position, even though I have a 24% position that I've had for over a year.
Yeah. Although I mean, you go through some chop, which is never fun, but you catch a couple moves like this and you have a pretty good year.
Yeah, I was actually, I don't know if you saw me commenting yesterday, but I was really contemplating on the follow through day about doubling my position,
Yep.
which I had trouble with that because I was literally thinking about, do I need to take the profits on this thing like when it was making the third wave down? Uh,
Yeah.
just because, I just been in it so long. I'm up 33% on it. My cost base is 276.64. So I'm just trying to hold on to this position, but this action this last week, with the bond shifting and this happening, I really Wednesday I was like, man, I wonder if I should double this position up now, which
Yeah.
would blow my cost basis up. Probably, it wouldn't bring me up to market price, but I would definitely probably be getting up into the 300 or more. So I didn't want to do that, but watch, it'll be just like in January. Remember in January when I thought I should be 100% long
Right.
when it broke that trend line? So that's when I added to this position in the first place. It was what was it? It was started October
Uh,
13th, 2022.
yeah. Let's see. So we can
On
actually.
that oops reversal, that low,
So I'll move
255.
this back to start on that
Oh
date,
yeah.
October 13th. This is how this would have handled it. And that's what's nice too. I mean, you can move this back to wherever you want, and you can see how. Yeah, let's see if I can find that little.
I mean, so
It's like
technically
if
for me, we've been in this bull, since then. I don't know when I don't think we got a follow through day until well after that low was made.
hmm
But I
But yeah,
mean,
so
that was the bottom.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, you can go back. I mean, here from the COVID low, put this as your day one, you're fully invested fairly early on. Was that April 16th. So just 10 days after.
Yeah, I think it had its follow through day on that Monday, whenever that Monday was.
Let's see.
I
Let's see. This is
remember.
picking up one on the second here, but this is the Qs. The composite may have been.
Well, the S&P followed through first, and it was pretty interesting because it followed through on a Thursday,
Okay,
and
yeah. So the
and then
Nasdaq composites on the Monday, the Qs were
yeah,
that Thursday, and I bet the
yeah. See, the Qs were that Thursday, and then you had the distribution day, and of course, everybody in the canslim world is, oh, well, now you got a 95% chance that it's going to fail. And Ehrman, God bless him, he's a mathematician. I called him up that day. I'm like, everybody's going to be crowing about this 95% failure rate into the weekend. And he was like, well, it's a statistic.
that
So
yeah,
there's a 5% chance it works. I
and
was like, damn you bird. And sure enough, we got the follow through day on the NASDAQ that Monday. And we were just off to the races after that. So
yeah,
um,
and I mean this has you
it's a
pretty
really
much
good lesson about
invested.
statistics, though, because just because something's got a 95% chance of failing,
Yeah, you still got that 5% chance
that's
of
right. That's
succeeding.
right. That's a statistic. So, but anyway, let's see. What else do you have to show on this particular one that we may have looked?
Uh,
So you
you
got
know,
all the rules in there. You got the oscillator that you've
yeah,
developed. People don't want it on
got
there.
that in there. I always just like to show this little reference table, if you forget what something is, it's gonna it's gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
all the rules are there. So it's good.
Yeah, so this is again, I selfishly made this for me. I bought the course. I stuck with it for a little bit and was like, all right, this is taking, way too long every day to do two little kids. So figured I would code it. It took me, I don't know, probably took me a little over a week to get everything in here. I started and stopped it multiple times. And then finally nailed it.
Yeah, and this is your top one. This is your top indicator. I see somebody
Yeah.
asking how much is this market indicator? And I think this one is this 295?
So it depends on which version you get. I sell the overlay one up here, is 349, and then that includes the oscillator version as well. But if you wanted just the oscillator version, I'd do it for 195.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
the thing about this is it's a constant support. So if anything changes,
Yeah, I'm making updates, and people can ask me about the rules or why something happened, and I try and respond as quick as I can and help them out.
yeah, Brandon is pretty much as hands-on just like me. So pretty bespoke. So
Yeah. And then yeah, I mean also, if you have a different set of trading rules that you like, and you want them turned into something like this that does it for you, I'm more than happy to help you do something like that as well.
yeah, we'll get into that. So let's see so that's one of your paid for ones. You can't show the one that you developed for the workshop.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah, I mean, other than that, I try and take
let's
stuff that, I think a lot of the can slimish type traders are gonna find useful, or, stuff in like Marketsmith that, I mean, it's obviously pricey to have that Marketsmith subscription, so you can get a free TradingView account if I can
I mean,
bring
listen,
stuff.
that's the thing. It's like why I pay somebody to cut my grass. Like, what is my time worth,
Yeah,
right? And,
exactly.
and these types of things right here are the difference between somebody spending, hours on the screens. I don't even look at charts on Saturday. I literally I start like Sunday evening, but mainly because I'm looking at this stuff all day, every day, all week. So
Yeah, I'm the
the,
same way.
yeah, the weekends, man, are for personal development, relax. You got to put things down to pick them back up. I know, and I say that now after having done this for 25 years. Those first probably 15 years I was grinding myself to death, discovering things, looking at things. If you're new in it, of course put the time in, because you got to build the reps up. There's no replacement for screen time.
No, yeah, you definitely want to get those reps in, but then once you know what you're looking for, if you have something that flags it for you,
Yes,
that
that is
makes it makes a difference.
make your time efficient. Now I do see. I'll stop right here for a minute. Somebody's asking how to buy it. Is there a site to buy the indicator? Where to go to? And so I'm gonna go.
So it's on my
Yeah, I'm gonna
trading
go to
view.
your Twitter handle,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
that's
guess
one
I
way.
could go grab that link to where is it?
Yeah, or I can
It
here,
just
I'll
posted
bring
it.
this over really quick. So if you go onto
There it is.
my trading view page, so Amphibian Trading, and click the scripts, you'll see some of these you won't see. Like these ones are custom ones that people are testing. But if you scroll down, you will find, let's see, Market Navigator and the Market Navigator oscillator. So if you click on either one of those and then kind of scroll down, there's a link right here under the author's instructions. If you click that, it'll take you to the page to buy it.
What is
Um,
that? What does that look like? Click that and let's see what that.
it's going to take you to a Stripe page.
Okay.
So yeah,
And then it's
can,
all done.
yep. And then once you do that, it sends me a notification, and then I'll fairly quickly, obviously I'm asleep or something because there's no way I have to do this manually, but I can manage the access and I add your trading view username to the list, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. That's the thing. I get people sometimes that'll join. It's like they're, Europe, China. I'm
Yeah,
asleep.
right.
So and
Yeah.
I did post your Google Doc.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's perfect.
form.
So
That's
that's
basically how to work with you personally.
yeah, you can even on that if you want the Market Navigator, someone just put that in the comments. We can make that happen too.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, let's see what other paid for ones or what are your go-tos or
so this
free
is
free
I'll show
ones?
you. This is my typical daily thing here. So I have that version of base finder on the daily chart. Similar to the one pretty much everything we went over, just the daily version of it. I have these price data labels. So similar to like in Marketsmith, if you click on a bar, if I hover over a bar, it's going to bring up kind of all the data for that day. So yeah, I can go click on this one and just kind of hover over. So I see the date, what the high was, low, all that info, closing range, what the volume was, volume percentage, distance to moving averages. Um, so
That's
that
okay.
one I like. That one's a free one, just on my page.
Okay. Yeah, a lot. You got a ton of free stuff. So
Yeah, there's a lot on there. See, I have my earnings reaction gap one on there, but I won't turn that on.
you do
Again, got to take that class first.
it. Don't you do it.
I won't, but yeah, we had a nice gap here on Palantir, so I'm using that for that.
Right. And so that script is generated and started the process on that gap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be hard for me to talk charts later, right? Because I've actually shown how I handle gaps in the years past. So it's kind of you got to
Yeah,
you got to respect that people did a workshop and paid good money. So I'm gonna have to kind of hold my cards a little close on some of that stuff. But
uh,
what else
exactly.
do you have hidden?
So this is an interesting one. It's this quant pivot stats. I didn't. It's
Is
not
that
something I
your
look at too
R1?
often.
Is that floor trader pivots?
It's so what this is, it actually, I think I put the setting in here where you can choose your look back, because this goes back. So the default is 30 weeks and it comes up with, what the average move was and a standard deviation of it. And then from there, it draws these support and resistance levels. Where this week, a lot of them busted through the resistance, but I was surprised at this with how many, like throughout the weeks. I think I can turn on the show previous, hide some of this other stuff. Like how many
Somebody,
times these
well,
levels would actually hold or, get really close. Like, this one right up into the resistance a couple times, comes down. Same like here, right in those support ranges. So this one, I don't necessarily rely on it, but it's always interesting to look at.
yeah, I know Ollie's using these things now, and Crutchy and a few other people in the chat use this. I used to use these. I think they're what are they called? They're floor trader pivots is what they are. S1,
Uh,
R1, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In Thinkorswim, I think they were called Pearson pivots,
So we can
or no, they were called SVEP pivots. SVE pivots is what basically that is in I think they'd probably be called floor trader pivots and
probably something like
trading view.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you all those different things. And honestly, I used to use them, but I don't know. I'm using, you know what I'm using these days. I'm using more Fibonacci. I'm using more ATR and
Yep.
like that, more opening range and VWAP and moving average crossover stuff. So
Yeah. And
all right,
actually, one that actually really quick,
go ahead.
let's see this one, because I know we had, or Gil was on earlier for the blue skies. So one of the things in his book is that 7 week rule.
Yeah.
So actually I turned that into a script as well. I don't know if
Oh, did you?
this one's gonna, I don't know if
That's a
we
good
have,
one. I've used that successfully on some.
yeah, I don't know if recently we've had anything that's gonna maybe hit that, but
Uh, maybe Elf.
let's see if Elf did it all. So there's
No.
nothing here with a 10 week. Um, yeah, I don't know as of recently, but it's a good one. It goes back, looks for the 35 days, which is 7 weeks above the moving average, and then it'll give you those sell signals if let's see if you look on the
Yeah, that whole 7 week rule, folks, like Gil's thing, it's like if you're staying above the 10-day moving average for 7 weeks, 35 days, right? Um,
yeah.
the first day it closes underneath the 10-day moving average, simple 10-day.
So here we go. Here we got a little
That is
example of it.
that that sets the trade up for the sell. You
Yeah.
don't sell it the day that it closes under the low, that the day it closes under, that first day it closes under, the low from that day is the sell trigger if it takes it out the next session.
Yeah. So for instance here, so once this background turns blue,
Okay.
that's when your 35 days starts. So from there,
You got a
it
light blue showing. Make that blue darker so we can see it, please. Yeah, there you go.
better.
Now we can see it. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so that's 35 days or 7 weeks that it's been above this 10 simple moving average.
Okay.
I plot this little just blue
And
bar down here so you can see the first day.
this is closing basis. You see the
Yep.
violations of it
Yeah.
on the way, but it never closed underneath.
Below it. Exactly.
And so now you've got your 35 days starts where that blue starts shading.
Yeah. And then let me turn this up. So here's your first close below it, this red background day. Let's zoom in a little bit. And then that next day you undercut it. So you get this little arrow saying there's your sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So kind of a cool, I mean, yeah, it's a good rule. So that's the 7 week rule. It's another indicator on there.
I like
And
that you dug up a China name to show me this. Went for Sohu, eh?
yeah,
I
I had to
haven't
find
seen that in a long time.
I had to find something I knew that had it. That was the
That was the one.
example on my
That was,
screenshot when it got published. So
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good.
but yeah, and again I customize. I mean, you can change the moving average and the length, the color, and all that. But yeah,
Well, then
so
you'd be changing the rule, wouldn't you?
you would, but again, things change. Maybe maybe you use an 8 EMA or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if you're a longer term, you wanted to use the 21 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot about that one. That reminded me with Gil being on today.
Well, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, that's the whole thing. I was telling Cubby yesterday. I don't know if Cubby's sitting in here or not, but I was telling him it was actually Gil when he put out his first book with Dr. K, the disciple book. Um, it was a simple comment, and ideas can come from simple comments, but he was talking in the book about how they used Home Depot as a precedent for Google's IPO because it had an invisible flagpole. And when I read that originally, that was when QWho had come public. QWho isn't public anymore. I forget who bought QWho, but the ticker on that one was QIHU. And when it came public, it had the largest percent gain for an IPO ever. It bested Baidu's IPO. So was messing with it that day. And I was also messing with, I was basically doing my Fibonacci work on IPOs going from, the prices that were printed on the screen. And when he made that invisible flagpole comment, it was like an aha moment for me. I literally threw the book to the floor. I was like in my recliner and just dumped it off to the side and jumped up and ran to the computer. And I was like, I need to be anchoring my IPO fibs to the syndicate price, the IPO price, and then run it from the IPO price to whatever the first swing high is. So, there's people out there that say you can't trade an IPO on day one. Well, I do, if it's worth our time to do it. I mean, we traded ARM on day one because it had so much liquidity and stuff, but we were basically anchoring fibs from the IPO price to the first swing high of the day. And it gave us reference points, Fibonacci levels to trade on. And if you go back, because when I had this aha moment, I'm immediately going and pulling up Google's IPO and all that stuff and checking this on it. And I was like, oh my God, I've got something here. So we've used it ever since and incorporated it into other stuff with gaps and stuff. But yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, Gil's got some good ideas.
Yeah.
Got some good ideas. And that really helped you. You got it up on the screen right there. That helped you get into Google on that IPO U-turn because it was a high tight flag, but it allowed you to start buying that before it broke out. Like you could have actually bought into that. Well, you had the HVC and all those concepts that you could have applied on that IPO day. So really, you can kind of see how that U-turn on the IPO, initial thing there came down and settled and really didn't push much below the HVC from the IPO day. So there's really a lot there. You still could do well just buying the high as it went through, but we like to be early. So anyway, going back to what you were saying about using his comments to build that one. Have you been inspired other than Webby and Gil and Markets?
That kind of style fits my personality, so that's what I tend to want to make. And then I get some random different ideas from different indicators I'm making. Like for instance, this one is an opening range, high and low with reversals. Like this person wanted some buy every dip strategy. But I haven't seen anything come across yet that really sticks with me, like the canslimish kind of style. So I tend to gravitate towards that.
I can't help but notice you use bar charts. Do you
just on the weekly normally? So like my normal daily, I use candles.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any open equals low or
I I got those.
Is there a reason that's not on there or
well I'm not as quick as you on the trigger. You're on those 3-minute charts and but yeah, I mean, let's see. I know I got that one I made for you. Was it that open equals high with the ATR?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see, probably not gonna be any of those this last week, but
no.
it's there. One of your edges that you have when you see that open is high, gives you those targets. And again, it's gonna make it quick for you. You're not having to calculate your ATR. You're just you see the open is high, and then you have a target.
I mean that's really these things are so great. Like now, you haven't been able to help me on the Thinkorswim side. I've got a client, Don Kasharov, that has written most of the stuff that I put in my watch list, but I have all those things to show me ATR percent range, the open equals low, open equals high, wick setup, open equals low, wick setups, all that stuff. So it's really it's taken my trading to a whole nother level because
Yeah,
I was hand calculating all this shit for
right.
years. And it
Yeah, and I
just
mean, here you go. Here's one
different.
I
It's the
like.
difference between being able to pull the trigger right when you see it versus having to take a minute and a half or whatever to calculate something.
Yeah,
What do you got?
exactly. So here, I mean, kind of similar to your watch list combos. This is another one I have on there free. But so it kind of like that. If these are your, your watch list, you can change which stocks are in there. Unfortunately, TradingView kind of limits the number of they call them requests that we can get in a single script. Uh, so I can only do 5 at a time. But they'll identify the kicker and oops, your open is low, open is high, an inside bar, or an engulfing one. So you could have this up there and just easily flip to anything that flags on there. And so one trick for trading, you say I want more than 5, I can add this indicator again. And for me, I have these little tables here or little check marks. If I hit a second instance, it just moves it right below. And then you can put whatever stocks you want in here. I'm just going to change those two for now. But
I hadn't seen anybody talk a kicker candle in a while.
yeah, so it's funny. A kicker was actually the very first code I wrote in PineScript.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
love them.
just a little let's see, bullish kicker right here.
It's really nice is a bullish kicker that's an OEL.
And speaking of, I actually have that as an
You got
option on
that?
here to only show the
I
open
love you.
equals low kickers.
I love you. Look at you.
It's my inner JT right there.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so that's my very first code was the kicker. So these little blue arrows.
Yeah.
And then since then I upgraded it to add that, the open low or require a mount that it has to gap up. But yeah,
Well,
so
all right. So we've gone over your best paid, some of your best free. What else do you have on your chart up here?
yeah, let's see. Well, this one's on there twice, and that kicker.
What is that what's that
Oh,
QGG?
that's Webby's new RS line.
Okay, so that's the quicksand, the Grateful Dead, thing.
Yeah. So one thing you can do
And
so for
basically
instance,
all that was, right? Refresh my memory on that. That is a oh hell, I've actually got it written down here. That was a weekly,
let's see. So
an 8 week and a 21 week
yep.
RS line crossover. And I think he's using exponential, right?
He's using simple on these.
Simple. Okay.
Normally he is
Yeah, he said he uses exponential, but
yeah, he likes it. But he was
simple.
saying, I guess, when he was studying it in Marketsmith, they didn't have the option for an exponential, so he's just got used to the simple.
But his ass is using exponential on his
Yeah.
thing.
Well, lucky for you, I got that option in here, so
Okay, yeah, I
you
was
can
gonna
switch
say
it.
you use what daddy teaches.
Yep. But
That'd
yeah,
be
so you
my
got
thing.
his quick break. So when the RS line crosses underneath the faster moving average, so the 8, and then his quicksand is when the RS line moves lower from that point, and then the Grateful Dead is when it crosses under the slowers, the 21 moving average.
Yeah, because and then wait, hold on. The 8 week and 21 week, which one was that? That's the quick.
8's quick, 21's slow.
Okay, and then I noticed he said on the daily he uses a 2150.
Yeah,
So
so you
which
could.
one is that one?
So same concepts. You would just need to switch the moving average lengths. I have it set for the default for the weekly.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't have all these things combined into one. You
Yeah,
have to
so
go in here
yeah, you can just switch
because
that to the 21 and 50, and then it'll
okay,
mark when those things happen.
because then he said also on a monthly he uses a 10 and a 24.
Yeah, so again, you would just, you go in here 10, 24.
And then
And one thing you can do if you're saving, this to your layout,
mhm.
you can
You can create 3 instances of this, right?
yeah, you can create 3 instances and you can do this, you can save as default. So, but say I change this to 2150 and then I save my layout on TradingView.
Mhm.
Anytime I pull up that layout, it's automatically going to be that 21 and 50. So if
That's
you have a daily layout, a weekly layout, and a monthly, it'll save it to what settings you have.
gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, I wrote that down. I wrote that down, and then I hit you up, and you're like, "I've already coded it,"
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is great, and it's free to the
Yep.
public. So there you go, folks. Well, what else? What else you want to touch on? We're about an hour in, so you tell me.
Yeah. I mean,
How are you enjoying working with people?
most of the time people are good. Every now and then you get some people that are pretty vague that expect you to create a strategy or something for them, which, that doesn't work well. For instance, I
Yeah,
had one guy who was like, I
they
want a
don't know what
strategy.
they
He's
want.
like, make me an indicator that buys at the lows and sells at the highs. I'm like, all right, well, how do you define a low? What's a high to you?
Yeah, you can't just create the Holy Grail.
Yeah, exactly. And then other times I get people that are, they'll send me a full PDF with screenshots of exactly what they want, and those ones are super easy.
Yeah, those are
Um,
those are your best clients.
yeah, exactly. That and I noticed you get a lot of repeat people. Once they get an indicator and kind of see how it works.
Hmm.
A lot of times people come back, a week or two later, I'm like, hey, how about can we make this now? And I'm always open to that.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, so lots of free canslimish indicators on my page. Can make, we can make
And what's
anything really within the limits of TradingView. Got like, position sizer here, which is kind of cool. Uh
Yeah, you're limited to what you can do based on the PineScript library and what they're doing in there. Because I think I saw on your Twitter you were talking to somebody, and it was about
oh, I
what was it? It was
so
I
screening.
asked you if about screeners, and you said you weren't able to screen based on PineScript,
Yeah,
but
which you're
they're
not yet.
working.
They are. So they said it's in beta right now, so it should be out fairly soon, which I mean, I think that'll be a game changer
Mhm.
if I can, go in here and be like, all right, show me every stock that had a quicksand, or something like that. Whatever it is you're looking for.
Oh, that will be huge. So
Yeah.
now, yeah, okay, so they don't have a screener ability for any.
So they have a screener, but it can't read like your custom indicators on your chart. It's pretty just basic now. I mean, you could do like an open is low, but that again, that's price action. So you can screen on price action already.
What is
But
somebody's asking? Can you go back to the page where all the indicators on
oh yeah,
TradingView? Do you have a link to that page?
yeah, I'll
Yeah, copy that
post the
link
link.
and drop it into the chat for people,
Okay, yeah, let me do that.
please, and thank you. Where's your dog? Is your dog in the room?
No, he's downstairs
That sucks.
being special, being special.
Yeah,
So there's the trading view
yeah. There's the link.
link there.
Oh yeah. Okay, Jake. Jake, I'm sorry, I just saw your question. You can still take the earnings gap course. You just need to email John, and I'll type that in here. Your ex gap workshop. Just email John, and it's what is it? It's Rain King Bull Bear at gmail.com. Just put ERX gap workshop in the subject line. Tell them, you can basically, if you get the VIP tier, that's just going to give you well, actually it gives you both. We did two tiers. The top tier, what we did is, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's somebody signed up. He's probably in here now. This guy Veer signed up for it and got on our last VIP meeting that we just did last week. And that dude, we had so many gap ups this week. He hit me up on Twitter the other day saying he already recouped his fee. So I like to hear that when that's the case. And really, we are in a good market now for gaps where you can really make some progress, because a lot of these things are following the rules really well on these gaps so far. So that can be done. And if you do that, then you will have the ability to then contact Brandon and get the script that then takes all of the buying principles and stuff and puts them in script form on the chart for you. That is the only, I have a free TradingView account.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
is
you
that is the only script that I use, because those they uh they only let you have two now instead of three.
yeah, they limit what you can do on a free account.
Yeah. I'm cheap like that. I use Thinkorswim. What do you want from me? I have Marketsmith,
Yeah,
which we're not going to talk about that, but it's turned into a dinosaur product now. Like, everybody's reverse engineering all their stuff, and like they're really behind the times. They need to get on it faster.
yeah. I mean, I think
I mean, if they
screening's
put
still
this
their main
screener in
thing,
here,
but
I mean, if TradingView gets the screener in here, it's game over,
yeah,
really.
I would think so. Especially, I mean, pretty much anything that Marketsmith does, I've tried to put in here. Even like those daily, they have their daily indicators, or they call it the secondary pages.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That shows all the advanced declines, new highs, new lows. What's it? You got your advanced decline line, that same overbought, oversold indicator they have in there. Um, your 10-day average of the up and downs. Same thing with the 10-day average and net highs, lows. I mean, so it's all doable in TradingView other than pretty much the screener at this point.
And
I mean, I could switch the indexes.
I was gonna have Moglin on here, Moglin, you know, to go over deep view and stuff, but he's got something else to do. Plus, I've got to get Max in next, and then the other stuff. But they built their thing on TradingView, didn't they?
Yes, they use all the TradingView charts. However, the way it's set up with TradingView doesn't let like third parties like that use PineScript to create their own indicators. So anything there would have to be made by DeepView.
Okay, so they're making their own scripts and
Yeah.
probably have their own scripting language that they've had to come up with.
Yeah, I think they're using TypeScript, whatever language they use to create the whole, deep view system other than the charts.
Well, that's interesting. So TradingView will give you API to their charts and their database, but not their scripting stuff, not the Pine script.
Yeah,
That's really
exactly.
that's really TradingView's proprietary stuff, is their code, right?
Yeah, because I mean it won't work anywhere else. It's all cloud based on their server and hosted there. So
Well, any part
yeah.
words, anything you want to add? I want
I don't know. I mean, here's how to get a hold of me again. If you want to, custom integrate, we can also something on here too. You can do the strategy tester. For instance, this guy's having me make one. It'll kind of back test, different trades. You can see how they play out and stuff. Something else we can do, if you want to mess around with kind of stuff like that too. So it doesn't just necessarily have to be an indicator. You can back test strategies as well using PineScript.
sheesh, I just put that stuff up in the if you scroll up in the chat, there's this Google Doc. Put your
And then
put your
I'll
info
put
back
this
up
back
there.
up
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is
Write
there we
that
go
down
here.
real
This
quick.
is
Take a screenshot if you want.
Gmail.
I'm like trying to copy and paste off the screen like a Google.
Oh yeah, we'll leave
Well,
this up
somebody
for a
did
second,
ask a
but
question earlier, but I didn't. I mean, I
let's see. I'll
figured it.
scroll up in
It said,
there.
"Can you have a code to identify the RS line as improving or moving up?" I mean, I know the answer is yes.
Oh yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah. So if you want that, I don't know. They may have that in the library already. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's probably in there. If not, I know I've made a couple custom RSI ones for some other people. That puts dots when certain conditions are met or something, so they can easily see it. So yeah, it's definitely doable.
All right. So now, one thing I was going to ask you, since we're going to talk about this in a little bit, as far as personal development, goal settings, and all that sort of stuff, what is Brandon's big goal for for right now, for the end of the year, for 2024 and beyond, for
Uh
this, or your trading or anything in general?
Uh,
What big goals have you set for yourself
Big goals that I've set for myself. Well,
that
trading wise,
will make something of you when you achieve it?
oh man. So as far as coding, I just want to kind of help as many people as I can there. Help people identify their edges, make it easy, save people time. Because I think, time is obviously the most valuable thing we have. So if I can save people time, I like that. I'm happy to help there. As far as my trading, well, I didn't blow up in a bear market, so I'm happy there. I got my capital. So now it's just to grow it when we finally, we get a good market, which maybe this is the time
Starting
it's
out,
turning now. Yeah.
I'm gonna say starting out that way. You got 75% invested in 3 days.
Yeah, I do. So hopefully, I'll take a little more upside, or hopefully not too volatile on those back and fill days that I'm sure we're gonna have.
I was gonna say, that there's gaps. I don't know. You never say never in the market. That's the thing about the market. Anything can happen. That is the ACH. That's the
Yep.
mantra all the time. But yeah, I don't see how we don't back and fill at least the gap that we had on Friday. That other
Yeah.
one, I mean, that other one, that if you back and filled that other one, that's just a shakeout under the 21 EMA. It's doable.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it'll be interesting too, because I mean,
It's all about those rates.
yeah, rates, well, and how heavily weighted, something like the Nasdaq is with the Magnificent Seven. You could get plenty of other stocks that consolidate nicely during that, while those maybe shake out. It would fill that gap.
Well, yeah, and that's one of my observational rules, which maybe somebody will go back and do a study on this, but it's like every earnings cycle, the core seven, I guess everybody calls them magnificent now. I've always called them the core seven, but the core seven, depending on what direction they were trading after they all report, you tend to either start to run back up or correct. The last earnings cycle, they were basically all near their highs. So you got more of a corrective tone and put in this base. Right now, Google has to do some work still. Basically, the ranking of these is Microsoft's in the best condition. If you look at a quarterly chart, Microsoft is in the best position. Pull up a quarterly chart. Yeah, so Microsoft's the best looking one. And then Nvidia, I think, would be the next best looking one. And then I think Meta would come after that. And then really I think it's Google after that. And then Google, and then maybe Amazon. Amazon's a little worse. See if Apple's worse than Amazon. I forget how I ranked these things the other day. Yeah, so Amazon's in the worst shape. And then Tesla looks like
Yeah.
hot garbage to me. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, man. Well,
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course.
I can't think of anything else to ask you, so I'll put it to the chat. What questions do you have for Brandon before we let him go? Um, Here's one, Jake. What was the script that showed the values for the swing
Swing
high?
high lows. So this high lows. Let's see, that one's actually by John Machow. No point in coding something that already works well. So it's this marked highs and lows, support and resistance, by John Machow. So that's going to put the swings on the different points.
Marjorie, this is Brandon, and that's Smash Palooza and the Ticker Monkey chat.
Yeah. Yep. Smash-a-palooza.
Oh, is there an A after the Smash?
I think
Is
so,
there?
but yeah.
I always thought it was.
Let's say I don't. I That
Yeah,
was
there
like
is.
it's
Yeah,
an
there
old
is. What
old
does that one
username.
mean?
I don't know. We that one just some old from when I was younger, and I just naturally type it out all the time. So
Yeah.
it's just what I go with sometimes.
All right.
Right.
Well, I thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Go boop the snoot on my favorite dog.
Yes, I definitely will. But yeah, again, feel free to reach out to me. Any general trading view questions too. I'm I'm happy to help. But
Yeah, and go follow Brandon on Twitter and get his numbers up. I saw your numbers
appreciate
too low, too low. I just
it.
saw it went up one as I said
Nah.
that.
Thank you, whoever that was.
Yeah, whoever that was, go follow your boy over here. Brandon does great work, man. That the thing that I like about Brandon and Max, who's coming up next, is these are clients, but they are also people that on their own initiative launched into studies based around some stuff that I was doing and then came to me and presented me with what they were doing. And that they had found some form of a statistical edge around it. And that's those are the type of people I want to work with and surround myself with. People that take the initiative, people that have a tremendous drive and work ethic and character. And that's what I see in Brandon. That's what I see in Max that is coming up next. But that's why I wanted to bring Brandon on here. I'm willing to help him with anything in his business, you know, and in life, whatever. I'm here all the time. So
Appreciate it, JT.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks, guys.